Welcome to Fun and Friends. I am Avalon.
I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Jasmine.
And welcome to the channel. Take 2.
Alright, so recap of last chapter. Agatha went down into the dungeony area, I guess.
Sophie got a work.
So,
Yeah.
The end.
Basically. And Ted Rose finally told Sophie that he's like done with her shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
But Sophie also kind of saw like Ted Rose defending and protecting Agatha, which made her pissed off. But yeah, Sophie got a wart, and more importantly, she realized that Ted Rose is not her enemy. Bum bum bum.
Who do you think it is?
Nemesis. And enemy.
Chapter 26. The Circus of Talents. Pause for dramatic effect.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like about to yawn or sneeze. I'm like, don't sneeze on me.
To Professor Dovey's office. Tedros ordered the fairies as he and Agatha trailed blood into the sky. What? Oh.
What?
Yeah, because they're flying back. Because they're all...
I'm just seeing this, like, weird mist.
I was
like, remember War of the Worlds when they had those alien things that just, like, mist?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah, it was like...
It wasn't even dripping blood. It was a mist.
I was like, wait, what? Oh my god.
They're flying, that's right.
She read that right, ladies and gentlemen.
To my room, Agatha ordered the fairies, flying her. But you're hurt, Tedros said, shivering. We tell anyone that happened and things will be worse than they already are, said Agatha. The fairies pulled them apart.
Look at her getting subdued when she's half dead.
Right.
The fairies pulled them apart. Wait! Tedros yelled. Tell no one! Agatha called back.
I love that.
This is so not the vibe I was getting from this.
Feels very Marvel.
Tell no one!
Chill your Avengers, man. This is not even that realm.
You're receding towards the pink spires. Will you be at the circus? Tedros shouted, dragged towards the blue.
Gosh.
But Agatha didn't answer as
I
he
wonder
and
why.
his fairies diminished into twinkles of light.
That's cute.
Poof.
How the fairies diminish into twinkles of light. I like that. Reminds me of like a cuter version of Tinkerbell.
There's a fairy that does that in Legend. I Am Legend.
I Am Legend?
I Am Legend.
Sorry, Legend.
Zombies.
No, Legend.
This is a zombie
No,
fairy.
I'm talking the 90s, like Tom Cruise, 1990s, like princess
Yeah, I know the
movie
one that we watched
that I
like
tried to
last
make you
year.
watch.
That thing was weird.
I have not seen it.
If you can't handle the slowness of like Snow White, it's a little too old for you. Just saying.
It was weird. That was weird. I should show Gary.
It's called 90s special effects. We're just spoiled with effects these days.
That's
We don't
true.
realize.
We just watched Mission Impossible for the first time, like all 6 of them.
gosh.
So I should show Gary the
Legend.
I don't
Legend.
think he'd be down to watch that kind of princess.
I mean, not even just to watch it, just to show him Tom Cruise dressed up in tights, basically.
My goodness.
Going from bum 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 to twinkle toes.
Little peasant boy in tights.
Anyway,
Okay.
as her own fairies lifted her into the dark sky, she looked out at the silver tower showered by the bay, heartsick and numb. The schoolmaster had warned them. He had seen who they were. She wrapped Tedros's bloodied shirt around the fairies as fairies
romantic.
flew higher into the knifing wood. Okay, what wind? Knifing wind, not wood.
Kniffing.
Kniffing. But if Agatha gazed up at the lantern lit, thank you.
I said you're welcome.
She did.
Okay.
Got stuck under your foot. I was fixing it.
I'm
Oh
just
my
tired,
gosh.
okay? Just don't touch
okay.
me. Agatha gazed up at
Hardcore.
the...
You know you like it.
I like the rubs that you gave me. I almost fall asleep. And then you're like, okay, action. And I'm like, wait, what? We're recording? Are we? What?
No, I was literally like kind of like, you know, like when we talk as friends and like you just kind of like cozy up with each other, like talking about everything. Yeah, I'm like, we are not gonna. I'm like, if we talk for 2 more minutes, I'm gonna get to that point where I'm like, no more chapters. And that would make you guys very sad. So
one and done.
We get one chapter tonight.
I woke up to you being pissed and her being like, and action, and I'm like, oh, wait, what?
She wasn't mad. She was venting.
Which I don't get to do very often, so.
And I was like, long day at work.
I didn't realize you were sleeping. Jerk.
I was
How rude of you not listening to her story too.
I was half listening.
I thought she was telling both of us.
I was half listening.
Okay.
It was a family
okay.
drama.
Lazy not that
Lazy
important.
zombie.
A family drama. Family drama.
Filet mignon.
You were talking about filet mignon?
Yeah, okay, so go back to chapter.
Okay, back to this. The Kniffing Wind.
Yes, kniff.
As Agatha gazed up at the lantern-lit windows, aglow with the silhouettes dressing for her proposals, guilt and shock burned to anger. Villains are the ones closest to us. Villains in the cloak of best friends. Oh yes, she'd be at the circus, because Sadler was right. This was never Sophie's fairy tale. It was hers. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, she's angry? I think she's just recognizing. I don't think it was that anger.
Did she say she was angry?
No, just said...
Oh yeah, it shocked
yeah,
her
burnt
to
anger. Yeah.
Yeah,
She was
Sophie.
pissed.
Sophie was trying to steal her princess story.
Basically.
Rude. Okay. I get it now.
So there was no attack after all, Professor Anemone said, sipping steaming cider. Yum. Standing by her study window, Professor Dovey looked out at the schoolmaster's tower burned with red in the sinking sun. Professor Espelda said the boys found nothing. Meanwhile, Tedra spent half the night uselessly scouring the grounds. Perhaps that was Sophie's tactic, rob us of our best players of sleep. The girls barely slept either, said Professor Anemone, and dabbed cider off the swan on her camel fur nightrobe. Who has camel fur for a nightrobe? Camel fur. Camel fur!
All right.
Hopefully that wasn't a student.
Oh yeah.
That's the first thing that my mind went to.
What if it was her, the one that she ended up having as her sidekick?
Yeah.
And they died, so that's her way of remembering them, is keeping them as a robe.
Keeping their hide?
Did her sidekick?
We never said that they were sane.
Her sidekick is a camel?
It might have been if she was Princess Jasmine, if she's the Arabian Nights, you know.
But is she? I don't know. I can't
don't know.
remember
I don't
who
remember.
Professor Anemone was. I know Professor Dovey was Snow White. Ah.
Sorry, we're getting pretty gory over here. All right, back up. Erase the Brothers Grimm moment and continue.
Let's hope they look decent for their proposals. In their camel fur night robes.
It's still early enough. We could totally restart this chapter, right? Take 3.
What is he so afraid of us seeing? Professor Dovey said, peering in the tower. What's the point of us preparing our students for these trials if we cannot be there for them? Because we won't be there for them in the woods, Clarissa. Professor Dovey turned to the window. It is why he forbids us to interfere. Professor Anemone said, no matter how cruel children are to each other, nothing can prepare them for how cruel their stories can be. Let me tell you about my week.
Yes.
Children, cruel children. Oh my gosh.
Children are the biggest manipulators.
I had...
Honestly.
Never mind. I'm not even going to...
Get spanked.
No, this child gets spanked. This child gets spanked. This child gets grounded and spanked. But...
He just
His
doesn't
parents
care.
don't do it in an effective manner.
His parents are the ones saying things that are causing him to say things.
He's just repeating.
He's just
hearing
repeating what he's hearing at home.
to get attention because he's probably not. Anyways, children.
He's a bad kid.
They're
He
wonderful.
needs to
not-
get bippity boppity booed to evil kids school.
There is no bad kids. It's just that they make bad choices.
Misguided.
They just made bad choices. And he's making a lot of bad choices. Anyway, back to where I'm at. You should go, my dear.
With their heads.
No, I don't
I'm
want
kidding.
He's still a kid in my class. I don't want that.
God.
Anyway, on that lovely note, you should go, my dear, she said finally. Professor Anemone followed her eyes to the sunset and jumped. Oh, goodness, you'd be stuck with me all night. Thank you for the cider. She swept to the door. Emma, Professor Anemone looked back. She scares me, said Dovey. That girl. Your students are ready, Clarissa. Professor Devi managed to smile and nodded. We'll hear the victory cries soon enough, won't we? Emma blew a kiss and closed the door behind her. Oh, I always love Emmas. I've never met a bad Emma. Anyway, Professor Devi watched the sun smothering the horizon. As the sky went dark, she heard a lock snap behind her. Quickly, she shuffled to the door and yanked it, then blasted it with her wand and shot it out of her finger. But it was sealed shut by magic greater than hers. Her face contorted with nerves, then slowly relaxed. They'll be safe, she sighed, trudging into her bedchamber. They always are.
That level of blissful ignorance right there.
Yeah, apparently the teachers get locked in their towers. You cannot help those children no matter what.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's what she was saying. She's like, oh goodness, look at the time. I'm going to be locked over here.
Oh.
And then she's like, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then she's like, oh god, I can't open the freaking door.
Gosh.
And then she's like, oh yeah, they'll be fine. No need to worry.
All right.
They're just going to go kill each other. That's
Terrifying.
all. They'll be fine.
Cool.
Imagine if that happened at my school. Oh yeah, we're just gonna train them to kill each other, but they'll all be fine. Let me lock some teachers in there.
Deadly magic, and then lock them in a room and see what happens.
Woohoo!
Great.
Just cause enough chaos to make tension build, and then let them.
Oh, and one of them is having dreams about killing another one, so yeah, there's that.
Yep.
Anyway.
We're still talking about the book, right? Just clarifying.
What?
Because Sophie had her nemesis, her dreams.
Yeah, but...
I'm assuming.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, he was bringing up...
Shh.
It was Squid Games.
I was trying to bring it back.
It was Squid Games, okay? Parents let him watch
Don't
Squid Games.
watch it.
Who lets their 7-year-old watch Squid Games, okay? Anyway, back to this. At 8:00 p.m. on the night before the ball, the students entered the Theater of Tales to see it fully enchanted for the occasion. Above each side floated a chandelier of 10 swan-shaped candles, burning white over good and black over evil. I need water. When they went in, there was candles of white over good and black over evil.
Okay.
Need some more alcohol. All right.
Would you like me to go get you some?
She's gonna
You want
refill
one too?
me.
No, I'm good.
Shot. Okay. Everybody.
This is our Friday night.
For real, it is Friday night.
This is what
Yeah.
happened when you're tested for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Chewy's now able to come to the school, so that's exciting. At least there's
That
that.
is- I did have a question about the volunteers in paper.
You can ask me afterwards.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we
I'm
don't have
just
to be
saying.
like, oh, here's volunteer stuff for how to volunteer at my school. Anyway. Above each side floated a chandelier of 10 swan-shaped candles burning white over good and black over evil. Between them hovered a circus clown. Yikes! I hate clowns. Brilliant in flame light with 7 long, sharp spires awaiting the night's winner. That is terrifying. I don't think I would enter.
I'm good on the couch.
This
in
is
my
why
home.
I'm a wimp on Halloween. I am good with everything else, except for...
I was warned.
Oh, you didn't even say it.
The clowns, but anyway, I was warned chapter 2 is way scarier than the first one, by the way.
Chapter 2?
It chapter 2. She thought if she would watch It chapter 1, she would get over her clown scare. Yeah,
It chapter 1 and chapter 2.
We watched
and then
the
It
clown
Chapter 2
movie
is the
with the
second
balloon.
Right, but I didn't know that they were called chapter 1 and chapter 2.
They weren't. It's just called chapter 2. The first one isn't called chapter 1.
It's just It.
Yeah, it's just It. Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's called It
if you
Chapter 2.
actually look at the book for it, it's like this big.
It's
It's
huge.
ginormous. It's like I'm reading A Court of Silver Flames right now by Sarah J. Maas. It's like 2 times the size of that book, and that book is like
It's thick. I'm
big.
looking at it.
It's like 2 times the size of that thing. I'm like, how does it takes up a whole shelf by itself.
Yeah.
That's probably why they broke it up. Anyway, away from the circus clown stuff, back to this. Because otherwise I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to dream of clowns trying to kill me. Like I did in middle school, which is the reason I'm afraid of clowns. Anyway, Evergirls arrived first, priming their ball proposals.
Yeah, Harley Quinn.
She's pretty.
I'm just teasing.
So I did space buns yesterday, like on the side of my head, but I pulled it down and I had the 2 pigtails, but I also had like wrapped it with like a chunk of the hair in the front. So basically when I pulled it down, I looked like Harley Quinn, and I was like, "Hello, Mr. J," to Gary when I go home, and he's like, anyway, Evergirls first arrived, print for the ball, proposals in colorful evening gowns and lovely, nervous smiles. Not lovely, nervous. I mean, I guess it could be lovely too. I don't know. It depends on the girl.
You could be lovely and nervous.
Yep.
When it's like shaking.
Yeah. As they entered the west doors, waving flags with white swans and banners blaring, "Team Good!" Glass flowers spritzed them with a fragrance, and crystal friezes came to light.
It just reminds me a lot of the Harry Potter movie.
Yep.
She said West Wing, and my brain went to Beauty and the Beast. Don't enter the West Wing. What's in the West Wing?
"Greetings, fair maidens. With your talent win us the crown," puffed a crystal prince as he fought a dragon spewing cauldron mist. "I hear this Sophie child is quite formidable. Can you defeat her?" Interjected a crystal princess next to him on a glittering spinning wheel. "I didn't make the team," Kiko admitted. "Always one who's left behind," the prince said, stabbing the dragon through. Through the east doors, Roaring Nevers shoved in, waving a hideous flag scrawled, "Team Evil," while Hort flapped his black swan flag so eagerly it broke stalactites off the ceiling, sending Nevers stampeding for cover. As he lunged for his seat, Hort took in the scorch marks on the walls, contorting to shadows of monsters eating peasants and witches eating children. Yummy.
Delicious.
How would you cook your child? I like mine lightly roasted with some maybe a honey nut glaze on the top.
I feel like you're such a tarragon person, though.
I do like curry, though. Curry is delicious. Gary
I
wouldn't
don't
eat curry,
eat
though.
meat.
I can't eat curry either.
You do too eat meat. Don't
Not
even get...
children meat.
Oh. I was like, you're not vegetarian. Don't give me that.
Oh, no.
You know, it was actually pretty easy being pescatarian for a year and a half.
Fish.
Yeah.
I like fish.
I need my pork belly over at the Korean barbecue place down there.
I actually was literally going to give up red meat beef completely, and then this person over here made the Gordon Ramsay style, like, version.
It wasn't Gordon Ramsay.
What is it?
It was just some TikToker, and then I.
But it's the Gordon Ramsay way.
No, it's not.
That's what it says in the TikTok video.
It does not. He said you should tag Gordon Ramsay in this. But yeah, no.
Okay.
But it's the rosemary salt that just makes it absolutely.
And I get in trouble when I go on tangents. Y'all.
I blame the red delicious cider.
Yeah.
I don't even know where we are.
You brought
Where was it? Kiko admitted. Oh wait.
No. I think
it.
I think I'm at the
I think you
front.
just flipped the page, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. While nearby
Pew.
Brain, start working. Thank you. While nearby Pew Francis came to life with woodcut princes shrieking as carved villains stabbed them, spurting black sap everywhere. What?
Never mind. I wasn't asked what a phrase is, but I'm guessing it's something up top. So
It's like a painting. You know, like when you go to like Italy and there's the one that has like the finger with the god.
Been to Italy.
Okay,
so ceiling paintings.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ceiling painting.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one that I was
You were
trying.
close. You were on the right track.
Yeah. It's
Look,
like Michelangelo with the freaking finger thing.
On top
Yes,
of
I
this-
went to Italy, but everyone knows that one. So
Yes. Sabrina, do the thing. Touch my finger. Yes.
which one
That painting.
Which one is God and which one is man? We don't know.
God is man.
God is man.
Yeah.
Man is.
Man is God.
Who knows?
I don't
We're a
know.
little bit of both.
Possibilities are endless.
Exactly. Who did all this? He ogled, splattering with sap. The schoolmaster, Revan said, plugging his ears from the shrieks. No wonder he doesn't let the teachers in. Meanwhile, as the Nevergirls and Everboys arrived, herded by wolves and fairies, they too felt the thrill of the room without adults. Only Chedros looked unimpressed. The last two limped through in creamy white breeches, chest gashed through with undone laces of royal blue shirt. Face sprinkled with angry scratches, he scanned the ever seats for someone, then slumped with disappointment into his own. Watching him, Hester tensed. "Where's Sophie?" she hissed. to Annabelle, ignoring Dot's glares down the pew. She never came back from Lesso's, Annabelle whispered. Maybe Lesso cured her. Or maybe the symptoms got worse. Suppose she attacked Tedros? But he doesn't have any symptoms, Annie, Hester said, gazing at the prince. When a villain's symptoms start, their nemesis grows stronger. But slouched in his seat, Tedros just looked ashen and weak. Annabelle gasped at him. But if he's not Sophie's nemesis, then who is? What are we whispering about?
Nothing.
Okay. Behind them, the ever doors opened into the theater, guided by the most beautiful princesses they've ever seen. Sorry for another tangent today. I
think it's Agatha, by the way.
Yeah, right? Walking in.
Yeah, I think it's Agatha who's her nemesis. I'm going to put that out there.
We came back from computer class today, and my kids were just, like, super hyped. And so I started whispering while I was teaching. I was like, when we get back, we're going to go and do some social studies, and then right after that, we're going to go and watch 5th grades go set off rockets in the quad. And one of my kids raised their hand, and they're like, why are you whispering? And I...
Excellent.
It was like...
All right, what glorious ever is going to bust through those doors?
Me!
You're not in the book.
But I'm a reader.
Yes, your voice acting is wonderful the majority of the time.
I burst through it. She wore a midnight blue gown. Make me a midnight blue gown, please.
You know, that was my dream. I wanted Anastasia's, like, glittering blue ball gown for homecoming. And my mom had a dress that was identical to it, minus, like, the shoulder shawl thing. And so I was like, oh, I'll just wear that. And I contacted her. I'm like, hey, Mom, I want that dress. She's like, oh, yeah, I Goodwilled that like 10 years ago. And I was like, that was my dream dress. Like, I grew up dressing up in that dress all the time.
I had something similar. My mom had this, like, beautiful, flowy maroon dress that was, like, off the shoulder. Like, it was gorgeous. I wore it. Actually, it's I wore it in a picture on my dad's desk. But my mom was like... I was like, okay, I want to wear that, like, to you know,
like a school dance or something.
School dance and stuff. And my mom's like, oh yeah, I Goodwilled that. I was like, it was my favorite dress. That was my princess dress growing up. I used to try and wear it when I was 7, and it would drag on the ground.
What did your princess dress look like?
I don't have those memories.
You don't have a dress that you liked?
That was my mom's?
Or just anybody that you knew that you like.
No, I didn't have female figures in my life other than my mom.
Had me.
Adult female
but
figures.
her school dresses though were beautiful.
Oh, me? Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was talking about her, but yours are nice too.
You were talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I
didn't get a compliment.
I went with her shopping. Hey, me and you scored the best Goodwill gorgeous dresses.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of that the periwinkle one I wore to prom. That was really pretty. That was like
got that for like $10 at Goodwill.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
That was like I was like, I feel like Cinderella. Okay, over to this.
Well, you asked me if I ever had a moment. I don't know if I ever had a moment like that.
What about when you were dressing up with like all those like Marine Corps ball dresses?
Yeah, you had tons of those.
I only went to one. You
had tons of dresses that you wore though. Like every time we were over at your house, anytime there was a like Christmas party or whatever, always had a beautiful dress.
Yeah.
And that cruise we went on.
I still have it, and I still fit it, and I still love it.
I literally,
I'm not getting rid of it.
For any of that stuff, I always wore the peach one. It was like
it
was just like my go-to. It was like, okay, we're doing something nice, I'm wearing the peach one.
I always treated myself and got myself a new dress.
No, I can't wear the peach one right now with the red hair. It just won't work.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
I had
pink.
It's pink. Really, really red hair, like 18, 19, 20.
Did you try it on yet? Don't knock it till you actually try it. And look at
I don't know with my boobs right now if I can fit in that dress. I've been eating too much McDonald's lately.
Dude, preach. Okay, I didn't eat McDonald's for like a year, and now I'm eating it 4 days a week right now.
Well, I have a very nice teacher who goes over to McDonald's and buys us lunch a lot. And so... Yeah.
It's been a habit.
It's starting to be a habit. And I'm like, I need to break this because McDonald's ain't no good. I gotta watch my figure.
Yes.
Especially because I'm doing a road trip around California with Gary in the beginning of June for like 10 years of being together. And I was like, we're going to be taking so many pictures. I got to look fly. Okay, anyway, she wore a midnight blue gown glittering with delicate gold leaves, beautiful. Long velvet train trailing down the aisle, beautiful. Her luscious ebony hair was swept up high in a tiara of blue orchids, beautiful. Around her neck was a ruby pendant that was dripping over her pale skin like blood on snow.
Pretty.
Her dark blue... That's what I was saying. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Her
10 out of 10.
10
Yes.
out of 10 would recommend.
10 out of 10.
Her big dark eyes flaunted gold shadow. Her lips a dewy rose sheen. This sounds like something you would wear.
Yeah, it does. It honestly does.
It was like, I was like, oh yeah. A bit late in the term for new students. A bit late in the term for new students, Tedros said, ogling. She's not new, said Chadwick
Next to him.
Lemon liniment. Chadwick next to him. Tedros tracked his stare to black clumps peeking beneath the gown and choked.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Smiling shyly, Agatha passed Beatrix, who turned to stone boys who were dribbled into their laps, girls who suddenly feared their ball dates, and nestled in next to Kiko, whose eyes were wide enough to pop.
Oh, gosh.
Black magic? Kiko peeped. Room, Agatha whispered, spotting Sophie's empty seat. She saw Tedros noticing it, too. He looked back and his big blue eyes met hers.
I think he's still in shock, though. I mean, he's more like, oh my god, how did you do that?
Welcome to the Circus of Talents! Afro Circus. Students,
That's a good movie. Madagascar is a good movie.
You just need some laughs. That's what you watch.
Honestly, I haven't seen that in so long. I probably should.
Yeah.
Just rewatch that like a couple months ago.
Honestly, I've been kind of wanting to watch SpongeBob. It's like
who lives in a pineapple?
Under the sea.
SpongeBob SquarePants
Serving
back
in yellow and
Under the
porous
sea.
sea.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
So my acting teacher,
Something you wish.
my acting teacher when I was growing up and I went to junior theater, was the voice for Mrs. Puff on SpongeBob.
What?
Yeah,
That's
it is
beautiful.
a he.
Oh
which is
yeah,
funny.
a lot of voice actors. It's
Across. Yeah.
there's a
He
couple
also-
where literally it's like one voice actor for the whole cast or two.
Mhm.
Yeah, he also did Starscream on Transformers, but I think Mrs. Puff is cooler, so yeah, that's me.
Use just the big toe on the driver's test.
Anyway, welcome to the Circus of Talents! Students all looked up to see a white wolf on stage, a fairy hovering beside him. Tonight will consist of 20 duels in order of ranks, he boomed. The 10th ranked ever will perform his talent, followed by the 10th ranked never. Everybody applause! Yeah! The schoolmaster will anoint a winner and publicly punish the loser.
Oh, shit. Wow, that just went from whoa to.
Students eagerly scanned the theater for him. The wolf snorted and continued. We'll proceed to the 9th pair, then the 8th pair, then all the way down to the 1st ranked pair. At the end of the circus, whoever the schoolmaster deems the most impressive talent will win the Circus of Talents. Cue for applause. Oh, thank you. The circus crown and this school will win the Theater of Tales for the next year. Good chanted, ours. You can be good. Go.
Ours.
And nevers will say, it's added, no more.
No more.
Just because there's no teachers here doesn't mean you can act like animals, the wolf growled. Because he's a wolf. Very chiming in agreement. I don't care if I have to beat a princess or two to get out of here faster.
Is that what the wolf said?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Evergirls gasped. If you have any questions, keep them to yourself. If you need the toilet, go in your pants. The wolf boomed, because the doors are locked and the surface begins now. Cue the foghorn thing. You know what that reminds me of? The last part, if you have to go to the bathroom, go in your pants. What everyone was saying with Avengers Endgame, when they were like, oh yeah, it's like 4 hours long. Oh. They're like, oh, what are we going to do if you have to use the bathroom? Just go in your pants.
Ew.
Sorry, you heard that, right?
No, I never heard that.
Oh, I heard that.
Makes me wonder how many people bought Depends.
Probably a lot.
We went on opening night, and it was hilarious the amount of comments that happened during the scene where all of the Avengers are coming in. It was awesome. Anyway, Agatha and Tedros exhaled with relief. Hester and Annabelle too, because for all the acts they'd see tonight, Sophie wouldn't be a part of them. Evers won the first 4 circus towns, leaving Nevers to suffer the schoolmaster's punishments. Brone started hiccuping butterflies. Arachne blindly chased her bouncing eyeball all over the theater. Vex and his pointy ears, swollen to the size of an elephant, all victims of the circus's unseen judge who seemed to be delighted in punishing evil. Watching another evil swan candles extinguish, Agatha fell ill. Only 3 more duels until her turn. What's your talent? Kiko nudged. Does wearing makeup count? Agatha said uncomfortably. Noticing Everboy still sneaking odd glances. Doesn't matter how they see you, Agatha. No prince will propose to anyone who loses to evil. Agatha stiffened. Her mind was fogged with 1,000 things, but only one mattered, because if no one proposed to her, you fail. Dun, dun, dun. Breath shallowing, Agatha turned to the stage. She needed a talent now. Presenting Never Revan, the wolf called. The wolf called and Phoenix carved onto the stage.
We're totally just frat boying this like Greek party style. Sorry.
It's our Friday night.
This is helping wake me up.
Good.
With his oily black mane and big black pupils, Revan peered down the yawning Evers, ready for another lame curse or villainous monologue. He nodded down at his bunkmates, who pulled drums from beneath their pews and gave it a beat. Revan started to hop from one foot to another. Then added sharp arm poses, and before the Nevers knew it, one of the best villains was dancing? Hester said, gasping. Drum beats grew faster, Revan's stomps grew louder, and his eyes turned a malevolent red. Red eyes for a villain, Tedros muttered, groundbreaking.
I can see him rolling his eyes as he says that.
Groundbreaking. But then came a sharp crack. At first they thought it was Revan's feet, but then they saw it was his head for a second one. Wait, what? For there was a second one next to the first one. Now he's got 2 heads. Apparently he dances and he grows an extra head. Okay. He stomped again and a 3rd head appeared, then a 4th, then a 5th, then a 10th. Snarling heads balanced on a neck in a stiffening row.
Hydra.
I was thinking like on the top, because it says in a sickening row, so I don't know if it's this way.
It would be this way.
Oh, it's this way? Where does it just like
all one
like all down like the arms, or the shoulders probably widen a little bit? Like
does he get fatter? I'm having a hard time imagining this. Somebody want to draw me a picture?
Sure.
You can draw me a picture. Okay. We'll present it next time. Draw me a picture. Oh, I saw the first word on that page and I was like, wait, what? What? Oh, there we go. Okay. Drum beats deafened, stomps climaxed. That's the word I saw. And Revan leapt from the stage in a wide-legged squat, stuck out 10 swollen tongues, and burst into screaming flames. Nevers lurched to their feet, whooping wildly. Who can beat that? Revan spat, restored to one head as smoke cleared.
All right.
That escalated quickly.
Sure did.
Agatha noticed the wolf guards of evil didn't look impressed. Instead, it was the fairies who buzzed excitedly. Perhaps they made a bet on the final score, she thought, refocusing her missing talent. Each never was getting better, and unlike the Evers who won so far, she couldn't twirl ribbons or do sword tricks or charm snakes. How was she going to prove herself good? Agatha saw Tedros staring at her again, and she felt her insides tight, squeezing away her breath. All along, she had thought getting home with Sophie was her happy ending, but it wasn't. Her happy ending was here in this magical world with her prince. How far she'd come from the graveyard. Now she had her own story, her own life. Tedros' eyes pinned on her, glowing hopeful, like there was no one else in the world. He's yours, her reflection had promised, dressed just as she was now. She had gone to the groom room, hoping to feel like that princess smiling back on the bridge, but why wasn't she smiling then? Why was she still thinking of Sophie? Tedros smiled brighter and mouthed through cupped hands, "What's your talent?"
I don't have one yet.
Agatha's stomach sank. Her turn was coming. Presenting Ever Chadwick!
You know it's 2 D's.
Yeah. Oh, Chadwick.
Chadwick.
Well, I've been saying Chadwick this entire time, so he's gonna stay Chadwick because that's what I was.
I noticed that too.
Oh, okay.
You actually already made this executive decision in like chapter 5 or 6. So
Yes,
yeah.
And that's what I was saying. I was like, I'm pretty.
Well,
sure.
I didn't know she was doing it like as a censor, because it's.
No, she just was saying his name wrong, and I pointed out, and she's like, "Well, it's too late now."
Too late. I am committed.
She was like, I'm committed.
I am committed to this.
That's fine.
It is now Chadwick in my mind.
But
that
it's
is
really
fine.
Chadwick.
I didn't want to add the penis part at the end.
What?
That's why I thought she was censoring it. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Continue.
I'm sorry for anyone who has that name.
I don't know anybody who has that name. I've never heard that
I know
name.
a Chadwick.
I know a Chadwick, but I don't know it.
Chadwick.
I don't know a Chadwick.
Okay.
Nevers assaulted Chadwick with booze and fistfuls of gruel.
Boo!
Boo.
Off with his head!
The evil decorations got into the act too, with the walls scorching marks depicting him beaten, burned, and beheaded, while villains carved into the pews shot him with splinters and sap. Chadwick, blonde, fury
Just
arms.
Smile and remember Afro Circus. Book it up, Afro Circus.
Yeah.
Blonde, I thought that's... Wait, it does say, blonde furry arms furled into his barreled chest. Apparently he has really furry arms. Drank in all this with his placid smile. Then he drew his bow and fired the arrow into the seats. It ricocheted off the pews, grazing never ears, necks, boomerang through the walls, and bled scorch marks red before it bounced off the carvings, impaled each one until it moaned in a chorus and went dead quiet. Another candle burnt out in the evil chandelier. Revan's smile vanished. Immediately, he was yanked into the air by an invisible force. A pig nose exploded on his face, a tail burst from his bum, and he fell into the aisle with a loud
Oink, oink, oink. Oink,
Apparently
oink,
she was paying attention to what I was reading.
oink, oink, oink.
Evers win! The wolf grinned. Strange, Agatha thought. Why does he want his own side to lose? Only 2 more pairs until it's our turn, Kiko whispered. Agatha's heart skittered. She couldn't focus on her mind whiplashing between Sophie and Tedros, between excitement and guilt. Talent. Think of a talent. She could neither mortify, since the teacher's counterspells were in place, nor could she do any of her favorite spells, since they were evil.
So you know what this reminds me of? Miss Congeniality, when she has to wing everything.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Gotta pretend to be pretty myself up and pretend I've got talents and all these
Answer the
beautiful
questions.
goals in life and philanthropy ideals. Yeah.
I'll just call a bird or something, she murmured, trying to remember Uma's lessons. How will a bird get in? Kiko asked, and nodding to the locked doors. Agatha broke her freshly polished nail. With the talent still locked in the doom room, Annadelle tried to curse open the doors, only to find the magic too strong to break and suffer a stink bug swarm as punishment. Then Hort took the stage for his face-off with Beatrix. Since the trial, Hort had been raising in the ranks, chasing a circus spot he had promised when he'd finally earned him respect. But now he spent most of the 4 minutes on stage grunting and wheezing, trying to pop hairs from his chest.
Oh.
I'll respect him once he sits down, Hester grouched as the Nevers let out a few boos. But just as time ran out, Hort spewed a violent grunt and cracked his neck. He moaned and his chest swelled up. He groaned and his cheeks puffed up. He wrenched and he lurched and he jerked and with a primal scream, he exploded out of his clothes. Yikes. Everyone slammed against their seats in shock. Hort sneered down, blanketed in a dark fur of hunking muscles. Sharp-toothed wet and long. Snout. Wet and long. He's a werewolf? Annabelle gasped. Man-wolf, Hester said, squelching through the beast's corpse. More control than a werewolf. See? Hort the wolf snarled at all of them. See? His expression suddenly changed, and with a flatulent poof, he deflated into a scrawny, hairless body and dove for the stage to cover himself. I take back the part about self-control, Hester said. Still, Evil thought they had won until Beatrix flounced onto stage in a peach prairie dress, clutching the familiar white bunny, and sang a song so catchy and sweet that soon she had Ollie ever singing along. I can be rude, I can be low.
You just sang that in TikTok tone.
I can be rude, I can be low. That doesn't mean that I can't glow.
But, oh my god, it fixed completely. That's so sad.
But who's always been here? Who's always been there? I'm the one who's been good to you. Not a fair weather friend, or in the flash of a pan. Tedros, don't I deserve your hand? They'll be so perfect for the ball, won't they? Kiko sighed to Agatha. And as she watched Tedros finally join the sing-along, amused by the earnest devotion, Agatha had to smile too. Somewhere in there, Beatrix had a speck of good. All it took was talent to show it. Agatha blinked and saw Tedros grinning right at her, as if confident she'd produce a talent far superior, a talent worthy of Camelot's son. It was the same look he had given Sophie once upon a time before she failed him. Never Hester versus ever Agatha. Oh, never Hester versus ever Agatha! And said the white wolf, and Hort was punished with porcupine needles.
Oh.
There we go. Agatha wilted. Her time had run out. Without Sophie, Hester's our last hope, Brone hiccuped, spawning a fresh batch of butterflies. She doesn't seem to think so, frowned the elephant-eared Vex, watching Hester slump on the stage. Soon they saw why, for when Hester unleashed her demon, it only managed a sooty fireball before fading into her neck. She coughed painfully, clutching her heart as if the effort had drained her. But if Hester went down without a fight, her teammates had no intention of doing the same. Like all villains, when defeat loomed, they simply changed their rules, and as Agatha took the stage, frantically trying to think of a talent, she heard whispers, "Do it, do it." Then Dot's voice, "No!" She turned in time to see the boys huddled over Red Spell's textbook. Vex raised his glowing red finger with an incantation. Agatha went stiff and collapsed unconscious. The only sound in the theater was a stalactite slowly cracking on the ceiling. It fell. Tedros tackled Vex by his floppy ears. Brun snatched Tedros by the collar and threw him into the chandelier, and the students dodged the falling candles that ignited the aisles. Everboys leapt into the Never pews, while Nevers ignited and launched dead butterflies at them from under Brun's seat. Agatha slowly came to on stage and looked up to see Nevers and Evers throwing shoes at each other across the burning aisle. Clumps, boots, and high heels flying through the smoke like missiles. Where are the guards? Through the haze, she glimpsed wolves beating up Nevers and fairies dive-bombing Evers, fueling flames like fairy dust. Agatha wiped her eyes and looked again. Wolves and fairies were making this fight worse? Then she saw one fairy in particular biting a pretty girl he could find. "I don't want to die." "I don't either," the white wolf answered. In a flash, Agatha understood. She flicked her glowing finger, and whip cracked of lightning exploded down the aisle, shocking everyone still. "Sit down," she commanded. No one disobeyed, including the wolves and the fairies, who slunk into the aisle ashamed. Agatha carefully studied the guards on both schools. "We think we know what sides we're on," she spoke in the silent theater. We think we know who we are. We tear life apart into good and evil, beautiful and ugly, princess or witch, right or wrong. She gazed at the biting fairy boy. But what if there are things in between? The fairy looked at her, tears welling. Make a wish, she thought. Terrified, the fairy boy shook his head. All you have to do is make a wish, Agatha pleaded. The fairy boy welled with tears, fighting himself. Then, just as with the fish, just as with the gargoyle, Agatha began to hear thoughts. Show them, came a voice she knew. Show them the truth. Agatha smiled sadly at him. Wish granted. She thrust out her hand, and a ghostly blue light burst upward from the fairies and the wolves' bodies, which froze completely still. Shocked students squinted at human spirits floating in the blue light above the frozen bodies. Some were the spirits of their age, some were wizened and old, but all wore the same school uniforms. Only the ones in good clothes hovered above the wolf bodies, and the ones in evil above the fairies. Dumbstruck, students whipped to Agatha for explanation. Agatha looked up at the bald, black-robed Bane floating above a fairy boy's body. The boy who bit pretty girls in Galveston, now a few years older, once plump cheeks sunken and stained with tears. If you fail, you become a slave for the opposite side, Agatha said. That's the schoolmaster's punishment. She took in the old white-haired man over the white wolf, soothing a young girl's spirit above a fairy. Eternal punishment for an impure soul, Agatha said, as a young girl wept into the old man's arms. This, he thinks, will fix those bad students. Putting them in the wrong school will teach them a lesson. It's what the world teaches us, that we can only be in one school and not the other. But that leaves the question. She looked across the phantoms, all frightened and helpless as Bane. Is it true? Her hand lost steadiness. The phantoms flickered and plunged back into the fairy and wolf bodies, which came back to life. I'd set them all free if I could, but his magic is too strong, Agatha said, voice cracking. I just wish my talent had been a better ending. As she slumped down on the stage steps, she heard sniffles and looked up at the wolves, fairies, children on both sides dabbing their eyes. Agatha sank to Kiko, whose makeup was a running mess of pink and blue. I used to hate those wolves, she wailed. Now I want to hug them. Aww. Across the aisle, Agatha saw Hester smile through tears. Makes me wonder what side I'm on, Hester said softly. Evil's ninth candle extinguished above her. With a miserable sigh, Hester stood. Instantly, a gush of boiling black oil exploded from the ceiling. She closed her eyes just as it smashed into her. It struck fur instead. Hester turned to see 3 wolves shielding her, bodies seared in seeming oil. Panting with pain, they glowered into the air, informing the schoolmaster they'd seen enough of his punishments. In the silent theater, everyone stared at each other as if the rules of the game had suddenly changed. See, he has to be good, whispered Agatha. If he was evil, he'd have killed them. Final duel, the white wolf stammered, sensing his luck. Never, Sophie versus ever, Tedros. With Sophie absent, we will proceed with Tedros. No, Tedros stood. The circus ends now. We've seen good that cannot be matched. He bowed in defeat to Agatha. There is no doubt of the winner. Agatha met his clear blue eyes. For the first time, she didn't think of Sophie. Both sides looked up at the gleaming crown, waiting for it to bless the prince's verdict. Instead, there was a very loud knock.
Ooh. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, 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 dun. Good stuff. I actually like that chapter.
Yeah, that was actually really exciting.
Yeah, it was. I liked
ridiculous,
it.
But perfect.
It was.
Just the right level of crazy.
Yeah. What did you guys think of it? Did you guys like that chapter? Do you like your little sound effects? Let us know in the comments below.
Sophie's knocking on that door, I bet.
I think it's Sophie too. She's making her entrance. She wouldn't make something just simple. She would come in.
Late.
Yeah. She would come in with a grand entrance. She's that type of personality. But yeah, I like this chapter. I think it was great.
All right, guys. We'll see you next
time. Bye.